Captain Lee Dae-ho stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the stars through the big window. His ship was called the Resilience, and it was one of the strongest ships humans had ever built. For 3 years, he had been flying around the outer edges of the galaxy, keeping pirates away from peaceful planets and helping ships in trouble. The message came in during the night shift. Commander Choi Ji-woo ran onto the bridge, her face white with shock. She held a datapad in her shaking hands. "Captain, you need to see this right now," she said, breathing hard. Lee took the pad and read the words on the screen. At first, he thought it was some kind of joke. The message was from the Galactic Council, the group that ruled all the planets and species in their part of the galaxy. Humans had been part of this council for 150 years. The message was short but terrible. All humans had to leave council space. They had 1 year to pack up everything and go back to Earth. After that, any human found outside Earth's solar system would be arrested or killed. "This cannot be real," Lee said, reading it again. "I checked it 5 times, Choi said. "The message came through official channels. It has all the right codes. Captain, this is real." Lee felt sick in his stomach. He called Admiral Park So-min right away. She was the leader of all human military forces in the galaxy. When her face appeared on the screen, Lee could see she already knew about the message. "Admiral, what is happening?" Lee asked. Park's face was hard like stone. "They voted yesterday. All the alien species in the council voted to kick us out. They say we are too dangerous to live among civilized beings." "Dangerous?" Lee could not believe it. "We have spent 150 years keeping peace in this galaxy. We stopped wars. We saved planets. We helped species that could not help themselves." "I know," Park said, "but they are afraid of us. They say we grow too fast, learn too fast, fight too well. They think we will take over someday." Dr. Kim Tae-sung had been working with alien species for 20 years. He knew their languages and their ways of thinking. When he heard the news, he went straight to the council building on the planet New Geneva. The alien leaders would not see him at first. Finally, after waiting for 6 hours, they let him into the meeting room. The room was full of beings from different worlds. Some looked like giant insects. Others were covered in scales or fur. A few looked almost human, but had strange colors of skin. "Please," Kim said to them, "tell me why you are doing this. What have humans done wrong?" The Qatar leader, a tall being with red scales and yellow eyes, stood up. "Your species is a threat," he said in a voice like breaking rocks. "You reproduce too fast. You spread to too many worlds. You make weapons that are too powerful." "But we only make weapons to protect others," Kim said. "We have never started a war." A bug-like creature named Velnari clicked her mouth parts. "That is what you say now. But what about in 100 years? What about when there are more humans than all other species combined?" Kim looked around the room. He saw fear in all their eyes. "You are afraid of something that might never happen. You are throwing away 150 years of friendship because of fear." "The decision is made," the Qatar leader said. "Humans must go." Back on Earth, people could not believe the news. Millions of humans lived on planets across the galaxy. They had homes, jobs, families, and friends there. Many had been born on those worlds and had never seen Earth. Admiral Park called a meeting of all human leaders. Military officers, scientists, teachers, and business people gathered in a big room in New York. The room was quiet as Park stood up to speak. "Our friends have become our enemies," she said. "After all we have done for them, they want us gone. They think we are too strong, too smart, too successful. They are jealous of what we have built." General Yoon Hae-jin, an older man with gray hair, raised his hand. "What if we fight back? We have strong ships and good weapons. We could make them change their minds." Park shook her head. "That would prove they are right about us. If we fight, we become the monsters they think we are. No, we will leave with honor." "Where will we go?" asked Dr. Jang Min-ho, a young scientist. "Earth cannot hold all of us. There are 50 million humans living on other worlds." "We will find new worlds," Park said. "The galaxy is big. There are places beyond council space where we can make new homes." The room was quiet for a long time. Then Captain Nam Soo-jin stood up. She was known for being brave and smart. "If we have to leave, we should leave properly. We should show them what they are losing." What do you mean? Park asked. We built hospitals on their worlds. We built schools and roads and space stations. We gave them technology they could never make themselves. When we go, we take all of that with us. We leave them nothing that came from human hands. Murmurs went around the room. The idea was bold and would be very hard to do. It would take months to remove everything, someone said. Then we use the whole year, Nam replied. We show them exactly what life will be like without humans around to help them. Admiral Park smiled for the first time in days. Yes, we came to their galaxy in peace. We helped them build a better world. If they do not want our help anymore, they can see how well they do without it. The plan began right away. Messages went out to every human colony, every human ship, every human family in the galaxy. The message was simple. Pack everything. Leave nothing behind that belongs to us. Take only what we brought or what we built ourselves. It was the biggest moving job in the history of the galaxy. Humans started taking apart the hospitals they had built. They removed the computers they had installed on alien worlds. They shut down the schools where they had taught alien children. The alien species watched with growing worry. They had not thought about how much humans did for them every day. Human doctors cured diseases that alien doctors could not treat. Human engineers fixed machines that alien engineers did not understand. Human teachers helped alien children learn mathematics and science. When the Qatar leader saw humans removing medical equipment from his world's main hospital, he tried to stop them. You cannot take that, he said. Our people need those machines. The human doctor looked at him calmly. These machines were built by humans, with human technology, using human knowledge. You wanted us to leave. We are leaving, and we are taking our things with us. But people will die without this equipment. The doctor's voice was sad but firm. Then you should have thought of that before you voted to throw us out. All across the galaxy, the same scene happened over and over. Humans packed up and left, taking with them 150 years of progress and cooperation. They left behind empty buildings and broken alien hearts. Admiral Park sent one final message to the Galactic Council. We came in peace. We helped you grow. We protected you from danger. You have chosen fear over friendship. We will remember that. Goodbye. The work began at sunrise on New Terra, the largest human colony outside Earth. Captain Nam Soo-jin watched as giant machines started taking apart the city that humans had built over 70 years. The buildings were strong and beautiful, made with the best human engineering. Now they had to come down. It feels wrong, said engineer Yoon Hae-jin, standing next to her. He had helped design many of these buildings when he was young. We put our hearts into building this place. And now we take our hearts with us, Nam replied. She tried to sound strong, but inside she felt sad too. The job was huge. 50 million humans lived on 47 different worlds. Each world had cities, farms, factories, and space stations. Everything had to be packed up and moved. Every human family had to leave their home. Yoon had been put in charge of changing the cargo ships into ships that could carry people for long trips. The ships were not made for this. They were built to carry boxes and machines, not families with children and old people. We need to add sleeping areas, kitchens, schools, and hospitals to every ship, he told his team. These people might live on these ships for years while we find new homes. His workers looked worried. Sir, we only have 8 months left, said one young engineer named Park Bo-young. How can we change 300 ships in 8 months? We work day and night, Yoon said. We work like we have never worked before, because if we do not finish, our people have nowhere to go. Dr. Jang Min-ho was working on a different problem. He was trying to figure out where humanity should go after they left council space. He spent his days looking at star maps and studying reports from robot ships that had explored faraway places. The council controls this whole arm of the galaxy, he explained to Admiral Park, but there are other arms, other places where no one has ever been. We could go there and start fresh. How far away are these places? Park asked. Very far. It would take years to get there, even with our fastest ships, and we do not know what we will find when we arrive. Park looked at the maps for a long time. Unknown space is better than staying where we are not wanted. At least out there we can make our own rules. The packing work was harder than anyone had thought it would be. On the planet Green Valley, humans had built a research center that studied plant life. The center had thousands of different plants from many worlds. Dr. Lee Haiwan had spent 15 years working there. "We cannot take all of these plants," she said to her team. "There are too many, and they need special care during transport." "What should we do with them?" asked her assistant. Lee looked at the beautiful garden they had created. "We take samples of everything, seeds, roots, pieces of stem. We will grow new gardens on our new worlds." It was the same everywhere. Humans took what they could carry and left the rest behind. But they made sure to take the most important things: their knowledge, their tools, and their hope. The alien species watched the packing with growing fear. They had not realized how much humans did for them until the humans started leaving. On D, the planet Blue Rock, the main power station stopped working 3 days after the human engineers left. The aliens who lived there did not know how to fix it. They had always asked humans to do the repair work. "Please come back," the Blue Rock leader begged Captain Kim Do-hyun, who was loading the last human transport ship. "We do not know how to run these machines without you." Kim looked at him with tired eyes. "You had 150 years to learn. You chose not to. That is not our problem anymore. The same thing happened on world after world. Water treatment plants stopped working. Communication systems went down. Hospitals could not treat sick people without human doctors and human medicines." The Velnari ambassador came to see Admiral Park 1 month before the deadline. The insect-like being clicked her mouth parts nervously. "Perhaps we made a mistake," she said. "Perhaps humans could stay on a few worlds, the important worlds, the worlds that need your help." Park's voice was cold as space. "You voted to remove all humans. You said we were too dangerous to live among you. Make up your minds." "But our people are suffering," the ambassador said. "Without human doctors, children are dying from diseases we cannot cure." "Then you should have thought of that before," Park said. "You wanted us gone. We are going." The loading of the ships took 6 more months. Every day, more humans left their homes and got on the big transport ships. Families said goodbye to alien friends who had become like family to them. Children cried because they had to leave their pet animals behind. Old people looked one last time at the houses they had built with their own hands. Engineer Yoon worked without rest to get the ships ready. His team added sleeping rooms that could hold whole families. They built classrooms so children could keep learning during the long trip. They installed medical centers and food-growing areas. "These ships are like small cities now," Park Bo-young said, looking at the finished work. "People can live on them for years if they need to." "They might have to," Yoon replied. "We do not know what we will find in the unknown space." Captain Lee Dae-ho's ship, the Resilience, was chosen to lead the first group of transport ships out of Council space. He felt honored, but also sad. This ship had protected Council worlds for years. Now it was leading humans away from those same worlds. "Sir," his navigation officer said, "we have clearance to leave Council space. The transport ships are ready to follow us." Lee looked at the screen showing the edge of Council space. Beyond that line was the unknown. No Council ship had ever gone past that border. It was unexplored, unmapped, and possibly dangerous. "Take us across the line," he ordered. As the human ships crossed into unknown space, something strange happened. The alien species they left behind started sending messages. "Wait," said the Qatar leader. "Maybe we can talk about this." "Come back," said the Blue Rock government. "We will give you better deals." "Please," said the Velnari ambassador. "Our children are asking where the human teachers went." But the human ships did not slow down. They did not turn around. They kept flying deeper into the dark space between the galaxy's arms. Admiral Park sent one final message back to Council space. "You threw away 150 years of friendship because you were afraid of us. Now, you will learn what you should really be afraid of: life without us." The message was short, but every alien leader who heard it felt cold inside. They were starting to understand that they had made a terrible mistake. But it was too late. The humans were gone. Behind them, they left empty cities, broken machines, and a galaxy that suddenly felt much more dangerous and lonely than it had before. 50 years had passed since the last human ship disappeared into the dark space beyond the galaxy's edge. The Galactic Council met in the same room where they had voted to exile humanity. But now the room felt different. It felt empty and cold. Qatar. Coalition leader Vextar stood at the center of the room, his red scales looking dull under the lights. He had been one of the strongest voices calling for humanity's removal. Now he wished he had never opened his mouth. "The pirate attacks are getting worse," he said to the other council members. Last month, they hit 15 cargo ships in the Outer Rim. The month before, it was 23. The Velnari ambassador, now much older than she had been 50 years, Ego clicked her mouthparts nervously. "Our trade routes are not safe anymore. Ship captains are afraid to fly alone. Some refuse to carry valuable cargo." Trade Minister Zephlon, a tall, blue-skinned being with 4 arms, looked at his data, pad with worry. "Our economy is falling apart. Trade between worlds has dropped by 60% in the last 10 years. Some worlds have stopped trading completely." Before humans left, pirate attacks were rare. Human patrol ships had flown through space day and night, keeping the trade routes safe. When pirates did attack, human warships would arrive quickly to stop them. The pirates feared human ships because humans were excellent fighters and never gave up chasing criminals. Now there were no human patrol ships. The Council had tried to replace them with their own ships, but it did not work well. Qatar ships were strong but slow. Velnari ships were fast but weak. Other species had ships that broke down often or crews that gave up too easily. "We need to work together better," Vextar said. "We can replace what the humans used to do, but working together was harder than it sounded. Each species wanted to protect their own worlds first. When pirates attacked a Velnari cargo ship, the Qatar would say it was not their problem. When bandits raided a Blue Rock colony, the Velnari would say their ships were busy elsewhere." Dr. Thexani, a scientist from the Crystal People of Bright Star, had been studying what happened to the galaxy after humans left. Her report was not good news. "Scientific progress has slowed by 80%, she told the Council. "We are barely making new discoveries anymore." "Why is that?" asked Zephlon. "Humans were very good at sharing knowledge," Thexani explained. "When a human scientist on one world made a discovery, they would immediately tell scientists on other worlds. They would work together to make the discovery better. We do not do this." It was true. Before humans left, new medical treatments discovered on one world would quickly spread to all worlds. New technologies would be shared freely. Humans had built a galaxy-wide network for sharing knowledge and ideas. Without humans, each species kept their discoveries to themselves. They were afraid that sharing knowledge would make other species stronger than them. So progress slowed to almost nothing. The problems were getting worse every year. On the farming world of green fields, a disease started killing the main food crop. Before humans left, this would not have been a big problem. Human scientists would have studied the disease and found a cure within months. But now there were no human scientists. The local alien scientists tried to find a cure, but they did not have the right knowledge. They asked scientists from other worlds for help. But those scientists said they were too busy with their own problems. The disease spread across green fields. Half the food crop died. The world that used to feed 10 other planets could barely feed itself. Food prices across the galaxy started going up. "This is exactly what humans used to prevent," said the green fields representative to the Council. "They would have stopped this disease before it spread." "We stopped the disease too," Vextar said, trying to sound confident. "It just took us longer." "It took us 3 years longer," the representative replied angrily. 3 years of people going hungry because we were too proud to admit we needed help. Similar problems happened all over the galaxy. Space stations broke down because no one knew how to fix the complex systems humans had built. Communication. Networks failed because humans had designed them, and only humans knew how to maintain them. The worst problem was on the frontier worlds, the planets at the edge of Council space. These worlds had always been dangerous places. Wild animals, harsh weather, and hostile terrain made life difficult. But humans had helped these worlds survive and grow. Human soldiers had protected frontier colonies from dangerous creatures. Human doctors had treated diseases that only existed on these faraway worlds. Human engineers had built machines that could work in extreme conditions. Now the frontier worlds were on their own. Many of them sent desperate messages to the Council asking for help, but the Council species did not want to risk their people on dangerous frontier worlds. It was easier to pretend these worlds did not exist. One by one, the frontier worlds went silent. Some were destroyed by wild animals that had learned not to fear the settlers. Others were abandoned when the people gave up and moved to safer planets. A few were taken over by pirates who used them as bases for attacking trade ships. "We are losing the edge of our territory," reported General Caxel, the Council's military leader. 17 frontier worlds have gone dark in the past 5 years. We do not know what happened to them. "Should we send ships to investigate?" asked Velnari. "With what ships?" Caxel replied. "Half our fleet is busy chasing pirates. The other half is protecting the core worlds. We do not have ships to waste on empty frontier planets." But the planets were not empty. Some still had people on them, people who were slowly dying without help. They sent weak radio signals into space, begging for rescue. Most of these signals were never answered. The Council tried to pretend everything was fine. They made speeches about how much better the galaxy was without humans. They said the problems were temporary and would be fixed soon. But in private, the Council members were very worried. They held secret meetings where they talked about their real fears. "Maybe we made a mistake," Velnari said during one of these meetings. "Maybe we should try to contact the humans. Ask them to come back." "Come back from where?" Vexatar asked. "We do not know where they went. Our long-range sensors cannot detect them. It is like they vanished completely." "They went into Tai, the void between galaxy arms," said Dr. Thexani. "No one has ever explored that region. We do not even know if it is possible to live out there." The truth was that the Council had tried to contact humanity. They had sent radio messages toward the direction the human ships had traveled. But space was vast, and they did not know exactly where the humans had gone. The messages disappeared into the darkness with no reply. Some Council members suggested sending search ships to look for the humans, but their ships were not designed for long journeys into unexplored space. They would probably get lost and never return. "Even if we found them," Zephlon said sadly, "why would they want to come back? We threw them out. We told them they were not welcome. Would you come back to help people who had betrayed you?" The meeting room was quiet for a long time. Finally, Vextar spoke. "We thought getting rid of humans would make us stronger. Instead, it made us weaker. We thought we would be safer without them. Instead, we are in more danger than ever before." Outside the Council building, the galaxy continued to fall apart, piece by piece, day by day. 100 years had passed since humanity left the galaxy. The Grand Council chamber on New Geneva was falling apart. Water dripped from broken pipes in the ceiling. Half the lights did not work anymore. The beautiful decorations were covered in dust and rust. Emergency Council. Chairman Drixval sat alone at the big table where once 50 representatives from different worlds had met. Now only 12 species still sent representatives. The others had either died out completely or stopped caring about the Council. Drixval was a Zenth, a species that looked like walking trees with silver bark and glowing blue leaves. His people had once been proud and strong. Now they were barely surviving on their dying homeworld. "Status report," he said to the few representatives who still came to meetings. Captain Yulkara stood up slowly. She was a Mohanty, one of the few non-human species that had tried to keep order in the galaxy. Her people were tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. She looked very tired. "The news is bad, sir," she said. 3 more trade companies collapsed this month. The Stellar Commerce Guild shut down completely. They said it was too dangerous to move goods between worlds. "What about the communication network?" Drixval asked. 70% of it is down," replied Technical Advisor Nexrim. "We lost the main hub on Relay Station 7 yesterday. No one knows how to fix it. The humans built it with technology we still do not understand. The galaxy-wide communication network had been humanity's greatest gift to the other species. It allowed instant messages between worlds that were thousands of light years apart. Ships could call for help and receive it quickly. Governments could coordinate with each other. Families could talk to relatives on distant planets. Now most of the network was broken. Worlds were isolated, cut off from each other. Many planets had not received any messages from outside their solar system in years. "Sir," Yulkara said quietly, "I have more bad news. The disease outbreak on Crystal Moon has spread to 6 more worlds. We estimate 2 million beings have died so far." Drixval closed his glowing blue eyes. Before humans left, disease outbreaks were rare and quickly contained. Human doctors and scientists would work together to find cures and stop diseases from spreading. Now diseases spread unchecked across the galaxy. "What about the request for medical help we sent to the Healers Guild?" he asked. "They said they are too busy treating their own people," Yulkara replied. "Every species is keeping their doctors and medicines for themselves. No one wants to share anymore. It had been the same story for 100 years. Without humans to encourage cooperation, all the species had turned inward. They only cared about their own people and their own problems. The idea of helping others, which humans had taught them, was forgotten." "Sir," said young Representative Kexmal from the insect world of Hive Prime, "maybe it is time to try contacting the humans again." The room became very quiet. They had tried to contact humanity many times over the past century. They had sent thousands of radio messages into the void where the human ships had disappeared. They had launched robot probes to search for signs of human colonies. Nothing had worked. "We do not even know if they are still alive," said Nexrim. "The space between galaxy arms is empty and cold. Maybe they all died during the journey. Or maybe they found new homes and do not want to talk to us," Yulkara said. "I would not blame them if they never wanted to see us again." Drixval stood up and walked to the big window that looked out at the city below. New Geneva had once been the most beautiful city in the galaxy. Humans had helped design it, with tall towers that reached toward the stars and parks full of plants from 100 different worlds. Now the city looked like a graveyard. Many buildings were empty and falling down. The parks were brown and dying because no one knew how to take care of the alien plants that humans had brought from other worlds. Few ships landed at the spaceport because space travel had become too dangerous. "Tell me about the archaeological findings," Drixval said. Dr. Vexandra, an old scientist from the Crystal People, opened her datapad. "We have found 43 abandoned human colonies. All of them are perfectly preserved but completely empty. The abandoned human colonies were like museums of a lost civilization. The buildings were still strong and beautiful. The machines still worked perfectly. Gardens full of earth plants still grew, tended by automatic systems that humans had built to last for centuries. But there were no people. The humans had taken their families and left everything else behind. Did they leave any messages?" Drixval asked. "Yes, sir. We found the same message on every world." Dr. Vexandra read from her pad. "We gave you peace. You chose war. We gave you progress. You chose stagnation. We gave you hope. You chose fear. We will not return." The message was carved into stone monuments in the center of each abandoned human city. It was written in the common galactic language that humans had helped create. The letters were deep and clear, meant to last forever. "They want us to remember what we did," Yulkara said softly. "And what we lost," added Nexrim. The archaeological teams had found other things, too. Human libraries with books about science, medicine, and engineering that could have solved many of the galaxy's current problems. But the books were written in human languages, and very few non-humans had learned to read them. Human workshops contained tools and machines that could have repaired the broken technology across the galaxy. But the tools were designed for human hands, and the machines required human knowledge to operate. Most heartbreaking of all were the personal items left behind. Children's toys, family pictures, letters written but never sent. The humans had left in such a hurry that they could not take everything that was important to them. "There is something else," Dr. Vexandra said. "On the world humans called New Terra, we found their central computer still working. It contains records of their final years in our galaxy." "What do the records say?" Drixval asked. "They show that humans knew this would happen. Their scientists had predicted that removing them from the galaxy would cause economic collapse, technological stagnation, and social breakdown. They tried to warn the Council, but no one listened. The records also showed how much humans had really done for the galaxy. Every day, human ships had stopped pirate attacks that other species never even knew about. Human doctors had prevented disease outbreaks before they started. Human engineers had maintained thousands of systems that kept civilization running smoothly. They were the glue that held everything together, Yulkara said. When we removed them, everything started falling apart. Outside the council building, the city of New Geneva was dark. Power failures happened every day now because no one knew how to maintain the human-built power systems. Crime was everywhere because there were not enough police to keep order. Many people had given up hope and were just waiting to die. Across the galaxy, entire species were going extinct. Some died from diseases that could have been easily cured if human doctors were still around. Others died in wars that human peacekeepers could have prevented. A few simply gave up and stopped having children, seeing no future worth living for. "How many species have we lost completely?" Drixval asked. 17, Yulkara replied, "and 8 more are down to less than 1,000 individuals each. They probably will not survive much longer." The galaxy that had once held hundreds of thriving species now held only a few dozen struggling ones. Worlds that had been full of life were now empty ruins. Space lanes that had once been busy with trade ships were now haunted only by pirates and scavengers. "We destroyed ourselves," Drixval said, his glowing leaves dimming with sadness. "We had the most wonderful thing in the universe, a partnership with humanity that made all of us stronger and better, and we threw it away because we were afraid." He looked around the broken council chamber one more time. "Send one final message. Toward human space," he ordered. "Tell them we are sorry. Tell them we know we were wrong. Tell them that if they can hear us, we would welcome them back with all our hearts." But even as he said it, Drixval knew it was too late. The humans were gone, and they were never coming back. 150 years had passed since humanity left the galaxy. In the deep void between galaxy arms, where no alien had ever traveled, a magnificent city floated in space. It was called New Earth Station, and it was 10 times larger than any space station the old Galactic Council had ever built. Fleet Admiral Shin Bora stood in the observation deck, looking out at the thousands of human ships that surrounded the station. She was the great-great-granddaughter of people who had lived in the old galaxy. But unlike her ancestors, she had never known fear or rejection. She had been born free. "Admiral," said her aide, Lieutenant Park Min-Soo, "the exploration fleets have returned from the Andromeda Arm. They bring good news." Shin turned from the window. She was a small woman with short black hair and intelligent eyes. Like all humans born in the void, she moved with confidence and purpose. What did they find? 17 new star systems with planets that can support life. And something even better. We made contact with a new species called the Keth Mori. "They are friendly and want to trade with us." Shin smiled. "Excellent. How many species does that make now?" 47 species that we have good relationships with, Admiral. All of them in galaxies that the old council never knew existed. While the old galaxy had been slowly dying, humanity had been exploring places no one else had ever seen. They had found new galaxies full of stars and planets. More importantly, they had found alien species who welcomed human friendship instead of fearing it. Captain O. Dong-Wu commanded one of the exploration ships. His vessel, called the Pioneer, had just returned from a journey that took him to 3 different galaxies. Each galaxy held wonders that would have amazed the old council species. "The Vorthani people are incredible," he reported to Admiral Shin. "They are made of living crystal, like the old galaxy's crystal people. But they use light as a form of communication. They want to share their light language with us." "And the others?" "The Meshkai live in gas clouds around their star. They build cities that float in the atmosphere. They have asked us to help them explore solid planets because they have never been able to land on one. The Zulthara are the most interesting. They are very old, older than any species we knew in the old galaxy, but they are not afraid of us. They say they have been waiting for humans to find them. They want to teach us about time and space in ways we never understood before." This was the biggest difference between the old galaxy and the new ones humanity had found. In the old galaxy, alien species had feared humans because humans learned quickly and grew strong. In the new galaxies, alien species were excited to meet humans for exactly the same reasons. Dr. Baek Mi-young was in charge of the Terran Federation's Science Division. She worked in a research facility that was larger than most planets. Thousands of human and alien scientists worked together, sharing knowledge and making discoveries. "We have learned more in the past 50 years than humanity learned in the previous 1,000 years," she told Admiral Shin during their monthly meeting. Our alien friends do not hide their knowledge from us. They want to share everything they know. What kind of discoveries? We can now travel between galaxies in weeks instead of years. The Zulthara taught us how to fold space-time. We can cure diseases that we could never treat before. The Keth Mori showed us how to heal using sound waves. We have learned to grow food in space without needing planets. The Meshkai taught us that. And they learned things from us too? Oh yes. Humans are still the best at adapting to new situations and solving problems. We taught the Vorthani how to build stronger crystal cities. We showed the Meshkai how to make tools that work in solid environments. We helped the Zulthara understand how to organize large groups of people to work together. It was exactly what had happened in the old galaxy, but without the fear and jealousy. Each species contributed what they did best. Everyone became stronger together. The human colonies in the new galaxies were beautiful beyond imagination. On the planet they called Harmony, humans lived alongside 6 different alien species in cities that blended the architecture of all 7 civilizations. Children who were human played with children from other species, learning each other's languages and customs. On New Frontier, humans and the crystal-based Lumnari had built a research center that studied the creation of new stars. The facility was half solid buildings for humans and half crystal formations for the Lumnari, but they worked together seamlessly. This is what we always dreamed of in the old galaxy, said Dr. Kim Soo-jin, who ran the New Frontier Research Center. True cooperation between species, with no fear and no suspicion. Commander Lee Yan-woo was in charge of defense for the outer colonies. Unlike the old galaxy, where humans had to constantly fight pirates and criminals, the new galaxies were peaceful. Crime was rare because all the species worked together to solve problems before they became serious. We have not had a major conflict. In over 30 years, he reported. When disagreements happen, we talk and find solutions. The alien species here understand that cooperation makes everyone stronger. But not everything was perfect. Scout ships still traveled to the edge of the known universe, always searching for new places to explore. Sometimes these scouts picked up radio signals from very far away. Scout Captain An Tai-hyung was flying near the border between the new galaxies and empty space when his ship detected something strange. It was a weak radio signal coming from the direction of the old galaxy. "Admiral," he reported back to Shin, "I am picking up distress calls. They are very faint, but they appear to be coming from the galaxy we left 150 years ago." Shin was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "Can you understand the messages?" "Some of them. They are asking for help. They mention diseases, equipment failures, and social collapse." "Admiral, it sounds like they are in serious trouble." "Are they calling for us specifically?" "A few of the messages mention humans. They seem to be asking us to come back." Shin walked to her window and looked out at the thriving human civilization that surrounded New Earth Station. Thousands of ships moved between the stars, carrying people and goods and knowledge to hundreds of worlds. Humans and dozens of alien species worked together in harmony. "Set course for the old galaxy," she ordered. "Ma'am?" Captain An sounded surprised. "Not to help them," Shin said. "Just to observe. I want to see what became of the people who threw us away." The journey to the old galaxy took only 3 weeks with humanity's new faster-than-light technology. When the scout ships arrived, they found exactly what they expected to find, a galaxy in ruins. Most worlds were dark and empty. The few that still had life showed signs of poverty and decline. Space was full of debris from battles and accidents. The grand trade routes were empty except for scavenger ships picking through the wreckage. "It is worse than our worst predictions," reported Dr. Beck, who had come on the mission to study what had happened. "Their civilization has completely collapsed. Most of their species are extinct. The survivors are living in conditions that would have been considered primitive even in our ancestors' time." Admiral Shin read the reports with sadness but no surprise. "They thought getting rid of us would solve their problems. They never realized we were not their problem. We were their solution." "Should we make contact with them?" asked Captain. "Oh." Shin considered this carefully. "No. They made their choice 150 years ago. They chose fear over friendship, isolation over cooperation, stagnation over growth. We cannot save people who do not want to be saved. But Admiral, surely some of them have learned from their mistakes. Perhaps. But look around you, Captain. Look at what we have built without them. We have dozens of galaxies full of species who welcome us. We have technology that makes the old Council's science look like children's toys. We have colonies where hundreds of different species live together in peace. Shin gestured toward the view screen showing the dying galaxy. They wanted us gone so they could have their galaxy to themselves. Now they have it. Let them keep it. The human scout ships completed their observation mission and prepared to return to their new home. Before they left, Admiral Shin authorized one final transmission back to the old galaxy. To the former Galactic Council, the message said, "We received your distress calls. We see what has become of your civilization. You have our sympathy, but not our help. 150 years ago, you told us we were too dangerous to live among civilized beings. You were right, but not in the way you thought. We were dangerous to your fears, your prejudices, and your limitations. When you removed us, you removed the best parts of yourselves. We have moved on. We suggest you do the same." As the human ships jumped back toward their new home, they left behind a galaxy that had chosen darkness over light, fear over hope, death over life. The clock had kept turning, but the old galaxy had not moved forward with it. In the new galaxies, humanity and their alien friends continued to grow, to learn, to explore, and to build wonders that the old Council could never have imagined. They had found something the old galaxy had lost long ago: the courage to embrace the unknown and the wisdom to welcome those who were different. The universe was vast and full of possibilities, and humanity, no longer bound by the fears of others, was free to explore them all.